So once you've created a scenario, you can move down and add any post-test questions. Now, post-test questions provide a great opportunity to solicit preference information, to gather participant comments about the overall site or application, and also to collect satisfaction data. Now, included in UTE's question library is the SUSE Satisfactory Survey. SUSE, it's a commonly used standardized satisfaction questionnaire. It's an acronym for System Usability Scale. So if we wanted to include the SUSE Satisfactory Survey in as a post-test question, we would highlight it and move it over. For this demonstration, let's not include it. I've already included 2 pre-test questions, so you'll be able to see how it works. Okay, so let's move down to the Additional Settings tab. The Additional Settings tab just gives you some more options while creating your usability test. The first section, Participant Consent, asks you to specify what you want test participants to see when the test begins. You can have them see nothing, and that will have you assign a unique identifier to each participant. You can give them a pre-assigned participant identifier. You can ask for the participant's first name, or you can include a participant consent form. Now, if you choose to include the consent form, you can click the Edit Consent Form, Edit Consent Text, and you'll be able to view and edit the consent form. This is what will show up at the beginning of the test if you want to include a consent form. You can edit that, and there are rich text capabilities. Now, the next section is Participant Messages. The first box asks if you want to include pre-test instructions. So if you do want to, you can edit the pre-test instructions by clicking on this button. And this is basically what they'll see before they start the test. Now, to customize messages that participants will see when they reach a target page or when using first click scenarios, click on the Customize End of Scenario message. It says specify the message participants will see when completing reach page at first click scenarios. And then inside the text box it says this scenario was designed to end when you made your first click. You have completed this task. Click OK to continue with the test. Now, if you choose to include interventions in your test, you can edit the messages that participants will see by clicking on the next button, Customize Intervention Messages. Now, an intervention message consists of 2 parts. 1, why the intervention occurred, and 2, what is going to happen next. You can create your own intervention messages or use UTE's default messages. So this is the message that a participant would see in a scenario timeout intervention. It basically says the amount of time allocated for this task is over. And then it will say when you click OK, you will be moved to the next page. Next, you are asked if you want to show a message when the test is complete. And once again, if you have this checked, you can edit the end of text message. In the participant result file location, you are asked where you want test results to be stored on your computer. Now, you will automatically store test results in the folder where the test being run is located, but you can change that if you want by clicking on the unchecking the box and then clicking the ellipsis button, and then it'll allow you to specify a new folder, and this folder can either be a local or a network folder. Now, the last setting you can choose from in the Additional Settings tab is the Third-Party Tools. UTE partners well with TechSmiths Moray, an excellent software package that allows you to digitally record audio and video of usability testing sessions. So if you check the captured testing using Moray Recorder checkbox, then the UTE runner will automatically start the Moray Recorder at the beginning of each test and stop it when the test concludes. UTE also has the ability to insert markers in the Moray log files, making it simpler and quicker for you to find specific audio and video segments for review, reporting, and documentation purposes. Then UTE has 6 marker insertion points that you can turn on or off. Insert marker at the beginning of each scenario, insert marker at the end of each scenario, insert marker at the beginning of each question, insert marker at the end of each question, insert marker when an intervention occurs, and insert marker when user posts a written comment. Okay, now that we have created a scenario and entered some questions, let's go out and take a look at the UTE runner. Okay, as I mentioned before, UTE runner is the component that actually runs the test. This is what test participants are going to see. Welcome to UTE runner. Start the test. Now we chose to include a participant consent form, so this is what it will look like, and it will ask for the first and last name of the test participant, whether or not they agree or do not agree. If they do not agree, it will not let them move forward and begin the test. It will give some brief instructions. You are about to help in the evaluation of a website. You will be given 1 or more tasks to complete. Please use the computer system to complete them. Work as quickly and accurately as possible. Remember, it is the system being evaluated, not you. Press continue when you are ready to begin. Now we chose to include some pre-test questions, the demographic, age, and computer use questions, and then the internet question. So we'll move through those. How old are you? How many years have you used a computer? Then how often do you use the internet? Now once we finish the pre-test questions, it'll move us on to the scenario. We only created 1 scenario for this test. It is what version of Microsoft's .NET framework must you have in order to run UTE 3? Begin task. And once they select begin task, they will be on the clock for this scenario. Now we've reserved a small piece of real estate at the top of the screen for the scenario to be always in front of the test participant. We have the scenario at the top, and then we have a button to answer and a comment button. With this particular scenario, we chose to make available the answer at any point, and then we have a comment button. At any point during the test, if a participant wants to make a written comment, they can do that, and it'll show up in a report. And this box is adjustable, the size. And then we will see the website that we're at, the URL that we designated to start the scenario at. So I'll move through this particular scenario. Now I've found the answer. For UTE version 3, you must have the .NET Framework version 3.5. Now, had we designated, or had we told UTE that participants must highlight the answer, they would be required to take their cursor and highlight where they found the answer. But for this particular scenario, we did not. So I'm going to go ahead and answer. What version of Microsoft's .NET Framework must you have in order to run UTE 3.5? And then we can move on to the next task. Since we only included 1 task and we did not include any post-test questions, it is telling us the test is complete. You have completed testing this website. Thank you for your help.